Picture this, if you will. The dense fog rolls in, enveloping the craggy hills of Lancashire as darkness begins to settle. You stand at the base of Pendle Hill, its peak looming like a silent sentinel over a village ripped by fear. The air is thick with an unshakable tension, a lingering sense of dread that clings to the stones beneath your feet. In this very place, over 400 years ago, whispers of witchcraft twisted into a tale of betrayal, suspicion, and death. The year is 1612, a time when the belief in witches was not merely superstition, but a deep-seated fear that permeated every corner of society. As you take a step forward, a chill runs down your spine. You remember the chilling stories of Alizon Device, a young woman caught in a web of accusations that would lead to the hanging of 10 souls, their cries echoing through the hills. Each shadow seems to tell a story of those who lived and died here, accused of dabbling in dark magic and pacts with the devil. The landscape itself seems to hold its breath, as if even the earth is wary of the secrets buried within. You can almost hear the frantic whispers of the townfolk, the desperation in their voices as they pointed fingers at their neighbors, the fear of the unknown consuming them. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, or if it's first time here, welcome to the channel. My name is Stone Rock. What we do here is go over ghosts, goblins, ghouls, hauntings, witch trials. We go over pretty much anything creepy, paranormal, historical, all that kind of stuff. What I do is I write a script based on the subject, and then I write a short story on the subject, and I tell you the story. Today, we are covering Pendle Hill. This was requested by a couple viewers yesterday when I uploaded the Salem witch trial video. I decided to fast track this one, so without any further ado, I think we're going to get into it. The early 17th century was a turbulent time in England. King James I, a staunch believer in the supernatural, had ascended to the throne in 1603, bringing with him a wave of paranoia regarding witchcraft. He penned Demonology, a treatise that fueled the already rampant fear of witches, framing them as agents of the devil. This fear manifested in brutal witch hunts across the nation, with countless innocents losing their lives to baseless accusations. In the remote area of Pendle, where the hills rise steep and rugged, tensions ran high between the families. The Demdikes and the Chaddoxes had long-standing feuds fueled by jealousy and bitter competition over the land and resources. As the community struggled to survive in the aftermath of a poor harvest and economic turmoil, the seeds of suspicion took root. Life was hard for the common folk. Poverty loomed over Pendle, and the threat of starvation was real. In these desperate times, superstitions flourished, and the vulnerable became easy targets. The poor, the elderly, and the outcast were particularly susceptible to accusations of witchcraft. It was a volatile environment, ripe for the scapegoating that would soon unfold. One fateful day, Alizon Device, a young woman known for her troubled life, was accused of cursing John Law, a traveling peddler. This accusation would unravel a series of events that would change the lives of many forever. The accused witches. Alizon was only 9 years old when her father died, leaving her family in dire straits. Her mother, Elizabeth Device, struggled to provide for her and her siblings, and rumors began to swirl around their household. As a family known for their eccentricities, they were already under scrutiny, making them prime targets for the accusations that would follow. One day, Alizon encountered John Law, who claimed she had cursed him after a brief altercation. Law, suddenly struck down and unable to walk, quickly spread rumors that he had been bewitched, in an age when physical ailments were often attributed to witchcraft. This accusation sparked a wildfire of fear in the community. Under pressure from local magistrates and terrified villagers, Alizon confessed, implicating her mother, Elizabeth Southerns, also known as Old Demdike, and several others in the village. Elizabeth, a notorious figure, often rumored to have witch-like powers, had long been a source of gossip and suspicion. Her knowledge of herbal remedies made her both respected and feared, blurring the lines between healer and witch. The rivalry between the Demdikes and the Chaddocks, led by Anne Whittle, known as Old Chaddocks, had been simmering for years. Accusations of witchcraft were often a means of settling scores in this harsh, unforgiving landscape. As tensions mounted, villagers began to point fingers, and soon a trial was inevitable. The accusations spread like wildfire. The community engulfed in hysteria, with each accusation feeding off the last. Neighbors turned against neighbors. The long-held grudges found their way to the courtroom. Rumors of witchcraft circulated, intertwining with personal vendettas and ancient feuds, culminating in an atmosphere ripe for persecution. The trials and executions. In August 1612, a group of 12 individuals was brought before the court. The trials were sensational, filled with drama and public spectacle. Alizon's confession was pivotal. She detailed meetings with the devil and how her family had practiced witchcraft for generations. The magistrates were eager to convict, hungry for evidence that aligned with the prevailing fears of time. As the trials unfolded, the atmosphere was electric with tension. The courtroom became a theater of fear, where the accused stood before the accusers, trembling under the weight of accusations that could lead to death. The magistrates, eager to demonize their authority, relied heavily on dubious evidence, spectral sightings, confessions under extracted duress, and the testimony of a few key witnesses. The evidence presented was flimsy at best, often rooted in superstition rather than fact. Witnesses claimed to have seen the accused with spirits or familiars, creatures believed to serve witches. Spectral evidence became the cornerstone of the prosecution, despite its questionable legitimacy. The trials concluded with 10 of the accused being found guilty. The public executions that followed were gruesome, hanged by the neck until dead. The bodies were left on display, serving as a grim warning to others who might dare to defy the law or engage in witchcraft. The sight of the gallows became a haunting symbol of fear and the authority in Pendle. Among those executed was Elizabeth Southerns, who, despite her age, was portrayed as a sinister figure capable of unspeakable horrors. The community's fear only grew, solidifying her as a witch in the eyes of the townsfolk. One individual, George Demdike, died in prison before he could face the gallows. Another young woman named Jane was acquitted, but the scars of the trials remain forever etched in the memory of the village. The hysteria that led to the trials had torn families apart, and the impact of the events would haunt the area for generations. The legacy of Pendle Hill. Today, Pendle Hill stands as a haunting reminder of the past. The landscape has transformed, but the echoes of those who suffered here still linger. Visitors often report strange occurrences, whispers in the wind, feeling of unease, and visions of shadowing figures wandering the hills. Many believe that the spirits of the accused witches haunt this place. Ghost tours frequently attract those eager to connect with the past, while the legend of Pendle continues to inspire literature, film, and television. The Pendle witch trials have become a significant part of England's folklore, capturing the imaginations of people from around the world. Today, Pendle Hill has become a pilgrimage site for those intrigued by its dark history. Their annual Pendle Witch Trial Walk commemorates the victims, drawing people from all over to retrace their steps. Many claim to experience the supernatural while on a hill, feeling a sense of connection to the past that is both haunting and profound. Some paranormal investigators report strange readings on their equipment, mysterious shadows, and even encounters with apparitions. Ghostly figures in period dress have been sighted wandering the hills, as if reliving their final moments. Visitors often share their experience of feeling watched or sensing a presence nearby, adding to the hill's reputation as a site of paranormal activity. So as you stand here on Pendle Hill, ask yourself, would you have been one of the accusers, swept up in the fear and hysteria, or one of the accused? desperately fighting for your life that is turned against you. The ghosts of Pendle Hill remind us of the price of innocence lost, of the dangers that arise when fear overcomes reason. So what do you guys think about Pendle Hill? That time frame, just, you know, in history of the world, you know, with, you know, witch hysteria all over the place, just seems pretty volatile. It's you can see where Salem came from if this had gone on just not even 100 years beforehand. It's unreal. My heart goes out to those spirits lost and this just utter travesty. I didn't really know anything about this. You guys suggested it. I appreciate you guys suggesting it. Thank you so much for being here. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Pendle Hill. If you're from Pendle Hill or the area surrounding Pendle Hill, please share down in the comments your experiences. Have you noticed anything at Pendle Hill when you're there hanging out, or just anything? Leave it all down below. But that's going to be it for today, guys. See you later.